Greetings, welcome to this series on Vietnamese language. So in this one, it will be a lot of content about the language, and it will contain both phonetics, writing, which is directly connected to phonetics. We will also take into account the different accents one can have, and a lot of vocabulary, grammar. And I can already say that grammar is not that complicated in Vietnamese. So it's a very nice thing that one can master in not such a long time. And it helps during the learning because one wants as simple grammar as possible, which is available here, is the case in this language. So let's get into it. So for this introductory one, I'll not go systematically into pronunciation, but I'll always use correct pronunciation. In this one, we'll use the Northern pronunciation, by the way, for things, when I'm pronouncing things after I write them, although the writing is basically the same. Unless one wants to emphasize this in some part of dialect, he will maybe write some things in some ways that are not distinguished in a particular dialect, but they would be in another one. But there is a standardized way of writing things, so I'll follow that for the most part. I'll follow that, basically. But anyway, let's start. So in this one, we'll talk about how to say Vietnamese in Vietnamese, the language itself, how to call it, also how to say English. Perhaps I'll also show you the sentence of how to say I speak Vietnamese, I speak English. So we have an example sentence with an example use of the grammar. But we won't go much deeper than that in this one. So let's start. So Vietnamese itself, the way to write it is this. It uses the Latin alphabet for already quite a long time. And to pronounce it, it's Dien Via. So basically, what we have here is two words that together make up the word Vietnamese in Vietnamese as the language. Dien, it means language. So Dien means language. And that means Vietnamese. It basically, this word is used also inside the word Vietnam, and also Vietnam, and also in this word. So yes, it's two words with a space, but what it really means is they just have individual meanings that connect together in order to create the meaning Vietnamese together. So this means basically it's like a word used for language, and then after that you use the qualification or the concrete case of the country. So in this case Vietnamese. So Tien together. Now there's tones to mention. I'll make a separate one directly on tones. But this is a rising tone, and this is quickly dropping tone, so to call it. So in this case, we have two different tones for both of these parts. So it's one word with one meaning in total, but it's made of two words, two one-syllable words. That's the general way it works in this language. One-syllable words separated by spaces, but together even more words can be one meaning, one word, of course. So that's that. So this together in Vietnamese. And then let's also say how to say English. So that will be, again, the same pattern. We have Dien, and then we have to add English as an adjective sort of thing. So how to say English or England is the same word, by the way. It's I'm. So we have that. So Dien Anh. So that's English. Now again, we start with the Dien, and then we follow up with the qualifying word that calls the country. So here, we didn't say the whole name of the country, which is two words, Vietnam, but here we have Anh, and that is England basically, so we have English with the same pattern. We use the same beginning word, Dien, which is the marker that is a language, and then this thing. So now let's conclude with the sentence, I speak Vietnamese, or I speak English, how to say it. So this is the first ever example here with actual use of direct grammar, where we're actually going to build a sentence with also verb and so on. And so I'll use the most default first person pronoun, which is tôi. It means I. It's probably the most general one. There's a lot of pronouns that can be used, and they in different contexts. So we'll go into that too. It's not complicated. It's just that one can use more words to say I and you in different cases, depending on the mutual relationship between the person who's speaking and the person who's listening. But if one addresses the general public, this is the most common pronoun, and it's like the most generic one can use. So definitely good to stick with when learning in the beginning. So the sentence to say, I speak the languages, this is one word, there's a big space between T and O. Let's write it again. not to have any confusion. So tôi, I. Okay. This is the sentence. Tôi học tiếng Việt. So we have I learn Vietnamese because I learn Vietnamese. That's the follow-up. So that's how it goes. I learn. So we see. Now also we could put a capital V here and capital A here if you want. But in any case, this is the sentence structure. So we use SVO sentence structure generally, just like would be in English, just like would be in a lot of other languages. So the very common sentence structure of SVO is used here. We have subject, which is who is speaking it, or who's learning. So actually I said I learn. Okay, we could also say I speak in it with a different word. But let's now stick to I learn sentence. So I is in the beginning, just like in English, then learn, the verb, how, that is to learn. It has the quick dropping tone, just like was in Viet. And then we have Vietnamese as the concluding part of the sentence. So, tôi học tiếng Việt.